Hi, and welcome back to another SDI Coffee Break. And I'm again with Dr. Mauricio Corona, SDI CTO in Mexico City. And last time, on the last session, Mauricio, we talked about the challenges that we're in. We talked about the change, and we talked about this as a pivotal point, maybe in what's to come. I think certainly what I think you'd agree. Like to think you agree. If after times like this, after challenges like this, there does come a wave of innovation post that. New ways of thinking, new ways of working as well. We're seeing that happen. And certainly I think if I had my investment head on in technologies that were going to make this type of interaction more real, so more virtual, more augmented, I think at the minute, right now, that's where I'd put my money. If there was some software out there where you talked earlier about the cultural change in working from home and the sort of the mental differences in working between teams, the lack of serotonin, the lack of oxytocin, the engagement, the body language, the eyes. And I think if we're in a situation where technology through this will improve and innovate to create an environment where that VR thing makes it almost real, I think that's the potential type of innovation we see of something as far-reaching as we're seeing now. You also talked as well about some of the technology that you're looking at too in relation to robots as a service.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that? Because I think a lot of people would sort of go, what? You know what I mean? Because people think of robots as something that's in the future, and actually they're here. And you also said as well that AI isn't magic.
That's right.
It's not. Right. Yeah. So what are you seeing in that space, Mauricio? So this is robotics, robots, people, robots, hard things you tap, robots as a service. What are you thinking, Mauricio, as a thought leader in that space?
Yeah, right now I am now more than ever. I am being able to see what these kind of physical robots can do for us. And when I mentioned,
Sorry, now you've got a few, haven't you? You've got a few robots? Yeah?
Yeah, I have 3 robots right now, different one. So what we are doing is enabling different strategies in order to bring robots to improve the customer experience journey into the organizations. And we were just working on these kind of things when the contingency just arrived, and it was like, wow. So what I did this couple of weeks, last couple of weeks is, okay, let's think in 2 different stages. The first one is, how can we use this to save lives, to protect medical staff? All of the NHS are collapsed or will be collapsed. So how can we work with these kind of things in order to help NHS and in order to help society? So when I start working on the robot as a service, it is, yes, we have physical robots, and I already have that, but I am meaning as well on digital robots. And when you say digital robots, it's robotic process automation, for example. RPA is just software who handles software. So you can robotize the execution of some kind of tasks. And when you are in these critical times, of course, any kind of things you can automatize in order to be more efficient is really cool. So I started working with some business partner. For example, we just launched last week a chatbot. That's a chatbot for COVID-19. So we launched that, and every single citizen in Latin America, because it's in Spanish, or for every single Spanish-speaking country, including Spain, you can ask questions about COVID through WhatsApp or through Facebook Messenger. So what we did is we launched some kind of asking for help. So we bring some medical doctors, specialists in order to help us to throw some questions, to answer some questions, to do some pre-diagnosis. We start working on the chatbot, and right now the chatbot has already been launched, and it's ready in order to to provide information. Why we did that? Because we saw that one of the main challenges that we were facing is misinformation. And we as technology, as a tech guys, I think that we have the commitment in order to do the best we can to provide the right information. So we can do that and we can achieve that with technology. So we launched a chatbot. We are working right now using social media channels in order to provide local channels. For example, bring buy local, no? So we do not lose jobs. So try to buy to the local restaurant or to the local store. But how can we bring this information to the local community? Well, we can use social media, and we are using social media. And right now we are analyzing how can we bring these robots to some hospitals. So we're just trying to think. Of course, what I am saying right now, I would like to have an army of robots right now already here in Mexico in order to provide them to the health system. Unfortunately, we only have 3 right now. But these are the kind of things on which you can start thinking, okay, with the technology that I already have, how can I put that right now in order? Priority number 1 is saving lives. Priority number 2 is providing the right information to the citizens. Priority number 3 is what can we learn as organizations from these kind of things in order to bring this technology to my organization and try to move forward to move faster. What are we going to need just after this situation? We will need better customer experience, better user experience in order to bring back our customers, in order to try to embrace them by using these new technologies. So I think that it's very important, very interesting, David.
It is interesting, and I think what interests me, Mauricio, more than anything, is how people adopt the technology. How people, so we know, in this case, you've got robots, you've got the software that's supporting what they do, and as we've seen is forever, right? When somebody invents a new technology, it isn't always how the technology was invented from a purpose perspective. It's how other people repurpose and adapt the technology to do more. And I think that's the key, Mauricio. You said we're trying to think of how we use this better. I saw the post actually that I think it was your brother posted about what you said is becoming reality. And there was a series of robots there that were carrying in a controlled health environment, obviously where human-to-human contact is almost causing the issue.
Yes. That's right.
And that was incredible. So somebody had thought about that already and adapted that technology to try and suit that one-off need, to change the capability. And I think that's the key. It's almost a situation where we have a problem. How do we solve the problem? Using the technology at our disposal. Not how we think about, how we used to do it. We've always done it that way. It's how we think differently to get better outcomes. That's how I think. I don't know. What do you think about that?
That's right. And there's something that I'm struggling with in my mind. It's like, I know that there are some companies in Latin America that already bought a physical robot, but it is on their store because they do not know what to do with them. So we get back to the same concept. It's not about technology. Right now, you can buy, as a government, you can buy 1,000 robots. That's good. They will arrive. And what are we going to do with them? Well, I don't know. Well, you need to develop the right strategy around those robots in order to bring these robots and making sure that these robots are going to do something for good, not just exactly the robot per se. So it is just as you previously mentioned, it is how you adapt the technology in order to make them to work much better. Yeah.
And what's pretty cool is, as you adapt the technology, you develop practices, you develop good practices, which then become standard practices, which then end up in textbooks, which then end up in frameworks, So I'm looking forward to seeing what you're doing and working with you to develop that, because it's the right time. A lot of people say it's too early. Some people will say it's too early. I think it's absolutely the right time. So when this stuff is ready, everything behind it is there as well. We're going to close on that, if that's okay, Mauricio, and we'll come on to the next video. So thank you for that. Look, thank you for our listeners, and thank you, Mauricio. We'll see you in the next session. Thank you.